weeks, we've been trekking through this series called How to Friend. Because let's face it, we could all benefit from a user guide in navigating these relationships. We've talked through how to treat our friends, how to pick our friends, how our friends influence us, and even how to carry each other's burdens. But why are we spending so much time talking about friendships? Well, because God really cares about our relationships with other people. And we arguably spend a lot of time with our friends. So maybe we ought to pay close attention to how we're doing in these relationships. After all, Jesus told his followers this. So now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. Jesus doesn't just give a suggestion or a recommendation to us. He says loving each other is a commandment. And there's implied relationship here, meaning that we're not meant to do life alone. There's a couple key phrases here in this verse. First, each other, meaning that each individual affects the others in reciprocal action. The action goes both ways. We're meant to live our lives in relationship with others that we can love and receive love from them. Another important and similar phrase is one another. It's so important that we see this phrase, one another, mentioned 59 times in the New Testament. In order to have a one another type relationship, God calls us to live in community. Community is the experience of belonging to a group of people with whom you share a story that forms part of your identity in who you are. You likely belong to several communities. Your cheer squad, band, soccer team, your FCA, your Discord server, etc. But biblical community goes a lot deeper. It's shaped by the story and life of Jesus. We grow as disciples of Jesus when we participate in biblical community. And when we connect in a group, it helps us to experience that kind of biblical community. So congratulations, you've already accomplished step number 1 by just showing up to your home group. So what's next? Isn't showing up enough? Well, not exactly. As we mentioned earlier, community assumes reciprocity, meaning you will get out of your small group experience what you put into it. And God, through the Bible, has a whole lot to say about how we give and receive from one another. The first Christ followers were pretty good at practicing this. And to quote one of my favorite pastors, Andy Stanley, he says, the primary activity of the early church was one anothering one another. What does he mean by that? Well, let me show you. Here are just some of the 59 one another phrases that we see in the New Testament. Love one another. Forgive one another. Encourage one another. Be patient with one another. Live in harmony with one another. Serve one another. Honor one another. Comfort one another. Accept one another. Be devoted to one another. Confess our sins to one another. And be kind and compassionate to one another. When you think about these phrases that we, as followers of Jesus, are called to, what would that look like to live that out in your home group? My desire is that each of you experience authentic biblical community where you participate in each other's lives, meaning that you celebrate the good things that happens in someone's life. When someone makes a good grade on a test, when they make the team, when they get a driver's license or get a job, maybe even being brave enough to have a tough and honest conversation with a parent. These are things that we can celebrate. It also means we mourn a loss together. When someone loses a game, or they lose an opportunity that they worked really hard for, or even loses a loved one, we stand by each other in the hard moments. And it's not just small group leaders celebrating your victories and being present and encouraging in your losses. True biblical community means you do that for each other. It means speaking up and giving each other an encouraging word. It means physically showing up when someone is in need. It means praying for each other. You see, guys, this means so much to me because I have been a part of real biblical community. Am I perfect at it? Absolutely not. But I've tasted it, and I have been so blessed in my life by it. My couple's small group has been meeting together on Tuesday nights for about the past 5 years. A few years ago, we showed up at the hospital to celebrate when one of the couples in our group had their little baby girl, and we got to take turns holding her and taking pictures together. It was so fun. We also showed up when one of the guys severely hurt his back, and he couldn't walk for weeks. He couldn't take care of the normal things that he was usually responsible for. So my group went to their house, and we mowed the grass, and we pulled weeds for them. We also love to celebrate each other's birthdays with cake or a fun treat, and at times we've even had silly traditions like wearing the birthday glasses and a birthday sash for the night. And everyone in the group, sometimes we go around and we affirm the birthday person with positive words of encouragement. That's always been so meaningful. We were also in a Frisco Rec League kickball team 2 years in a row, and we got second place both years, losing to the same team both times. We definitely griped and complained together about that one. And a couple years later, we're still salty about it. And there's also been some small moments along the way where we've shared our own personal stories with each other, what we've walked through in life, how we met God, our most vulnerable struggles and our doubts in our life, and how we know that God is still working in our lives. We know each other, but it has really taken time and commitment to get to where we're at now. When we started, you see, it was just me and my husband Jacob and one other married couple. And after weeks and finally months, others started to slowly join us. And it kind of took about a year until we really started to gel and find our group identity. And I know that on Tuesday nights, sometimes I don't feel like going. But every time after I see my group, I'm better because of them. When I'm having a hard week, they encourage me. And when I think of them during the week and about their prayer requests that they shared in group time, I like to text them and let them know that I'm praying for them. You see, that's my journey. And that truly, guys, is the most authentic and meaningful way that I can tell you how to friend. I want you guys to experience true biblical community too. It takes a commitment. It takes invested time. It takes your participation. So remember, you will get out of it what you put into it. So lean in. Don't hold back from letting the people sitting around you be the kind of friends that one another. I hope you all have a great discussion in home groups, but first, here's some things that you don't want to miss.
Hey everybody, hope you guys had an awesome time in home groups today. I want to give a quick shout out to the girls who came to girls night this past Saturday. It looked like you guys had an absolute blast, and we can't wait for you guys to experience that event next year. Now guys in the room, I know you might be feeling a little bit left out, but don't worry, we have something just for you. Guys night is happening on November 12th in the Rail with PTSM. Come for an awesome night with just the boys, food, games, and an awesome time. You can register at PrestonTrail.org/events or in the description below. Now for all you guys, we'll see you next week at Block Party. Remember, wear a flannel, pop on some comfy clothes, and come ready to kick back with PTSM. There's gonna be fire pits, food trucks, outdoor worship, and a ton of fun. You're not gonna wanna miss it. November 6th, 6 p.m. sharp. We'll see you there. Thanks again for tuning in. Remember, if you see someone crying in public, make sure to ask if it's about their current haircut. Have a good one.